In today's video, we're going to be talking about Josh Thomson explaining why the UFC won't put together a Nate Diaz versus Dustin Poirier fight. Josh Thomson has stated why he does not believe the UFC will book Nate Diaz and Dustin Poirier's rumored match. We've already been hearing rumors for weeks about a potential fight, a fight that's been years in the making. Unfortunately for MMA fans all across the world, it doesn't appear that we'll be getting it anytime soon, at least not for the time being. Josh Thomson before the UFC. Josh Thomson hails from the east side of San Jose, California. Thomson faced a ton of discrimination due to his mixed race, half European American and half Mexican upbringing, which resulted in him getting tons of fights at school. After a scuffle where he punched the principal trying to break up a brawl, he was sent to juvenile hall. When he was done in juvenile hall, he was relocated to his dad's house in Idaho. Attending high school in Idaho, he joined the wrestling team. Thomson continued his wrestling career in junior college and even once trained with a Stanford University wrestling team before deciding that he didn't want to attend post-secondary education. Despite this, his wrestling record in college was 40-3. Now let's take a look at his early career. Thomson began his career in MMA by winning the first two professional matches he was in. Ultimately, he was content in the ring with Norifumi Yamamoto. After that, Thomson went on to win the next three fights in the ring, including when he went up against Rob McCullough, the former WEC lightweight champion. The UFC. Debuting in UFC 44, Thomson won by knockout against Gerald Strebant. Afterward, in UFC 46, he won a victory decision over Hermes Franca. Despite this, in his next fight, he would be knocked out by Yves Edwards to a highlight reel finish. Thomson left the UFC and opted to go fight in Japan for Pride FC. Despite Thomson going 2-1 in the UFC and 7-1 overall, he decided to head overseas and fight only once and winning for Pride FC. In the first round, his opponent submitted, leaving Thomson victorious. Finishing with Pride FC, Thomson goes to Strikeforce. Thomson signed with Strikeforce shortly after leaving Pride, but lost his first fight. This didn't get Thomson down, and he would go on to win his next 6 fights, earning him another chance to win the Strikeforce lightweight championship. Thomson decided to return in March 2012 after a foot injury and won by unanimous decision. His final fight on May 19, 2012 was against Gilbert Melendez to obtain the Strikeforce lightweight championship. Unfortunately, he lost the fight to a split decision. Thomson's return to the UFC. When Strikeforce dissolved in early 2013, Thomson decided that he would return to the UFC. His first fight was against Nate Diaz in April 2013, which he won by a TKO. This fight would be only one of 2 times that Nate Diaz has lost by TKO. However, this win for Thomson earned him the bonus award for knockout of the night. So why doesn't Josh Thomson think the UFC won't book the Diaz versus Poirier fight? After hearing about the rumored showdown for a while between Dustin Poirier and Nate Diaz, Thomson has chimed in on why he thinks the UFC doesn't really want Nate Diaz to go against a big-name guy for the final fight on his contract. Diaz, Thomson continues, wants to go ahead and fight so he can just be done. Dustin Poirier versus Nate Diaz, the long-awaited fight. Back in 2018, Diaz and Poirier had a scheduled fight at Madison Square Garden in UFC 230. However, due to an injury sustained a couple weeks before the scheduled fight, Poirier had to back out. The fight was never rescheduled between Diaz and Poirier has expressed over the years that he wanted the fight to happen. Poirier's recent fights. Dustin Poirier had 3 fights in 2021. 2 fights were against the notorious Conor McGregor, which Poirier won by knockout and TKO, which was the first time ever Conor McGregor had lost via knockout. Poirier's final fight in December 2021 was against Charles Oliveira, which Poirier lost by submission in the 3rd round. Dustin Poirier's fighting style in the UFC. I always feel it's important to add the fighting background of the UFC fighters. Currently holding a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu since he started in the UFC, Poirier's boxing skills are renowned. Most known for his shoulder roll use and shifting punching style, these skills are showcased in fights against Max Holloway, Conor McGregor, Eddie Alvarez, Dan Hooker, and Justin Gaethje. Poirier's current record is 28-7 with 1 no contest. Nate Diaz's most recent fights. It appears that Nate Diaz didn't appear to have as an eventful a year as Dustin Poirier, only having 1 fight in June against Leon Edwards, which he lost. Despite this, Diaz is still one of the biggest names in the UFC because of how he is able to command the attention of the audience when he steps into the ring. Diaz's current record is 21-13. Diaz's fighting style. The Stockton native definitely has a fighting style about him that makes him so interesting to watch. His fighting style is definitely not conventional, mostly described as lazy and unorganized with a don't give an F attitude. While he's the sloppy fighter and consistently has a half guard up, this appears to actually lure his opponents in, and he throws his punch as they get close. Fans may get their wish if recent rumors are true. Despite Diaz having high value when it comes to fighting in the UFC, but the UFC may opt to head a different route for the last fight on his contract. Negotiations still appear to be all over the place, and rumors keep popping up that there could be a short notice fight between the two. The most updated word on Dustin Poirier versus Nate Diaz: right now, no contracts have been signed, and everything's still speculation that the UFC has not confirmed anything, but there are hints from Poirier that there is a short notice fight coming coming and that fans would be excited about it. Much speculation leads everyone to believe that the fight will be between he and Nate Diaz. The final fight for Nate Diaz. Most agree that the UFC does not want the Nate Diaz versus Dustin Poirier fight to happen because Poirier is such a big name and they don't want that for Diaz's last fight. It seems contradictory, however, that the UFC would not want a big name fight, the last contract fight for Nate Diaz. It's no secret that past fights with a lot of hype surrounding them would rake in more money. Maybe this is another publicity stunt from Dana White to try and get more views on the long-anticipated fight. Back in November 2021, Dana White, head honcho of the UFC, teased back then that there would be a blockbuster fight with the final opponent in Nate Diaz's final fight. We all know that Nate Diaz has one fight left on his contract, and who wouldn't want to go out with a bang? White's reportedly making some things happen behind the scenes for Diaz's final octagon fight. Dana White has suggested Shimov for Diaz's final fight. Going against the grain with literally almost everyone else, White's wanting to book Khamzat Chimaev. The notable win of Chimaev against Li Jingliang while at UFC 267 is presumably why Dana White wants to schedule the fight between the two. To give you an idea of Chimaev's win, he had the Chinese fighter submit in the first round of the welterweight contest. White talks up Chimaev, who has won 4 straight fights in the UFC. Dana White's pick for Nate Diaz's final fight, Khamzat Chimaev. Chimaev started wrestling at just 5 years old and won the bronze medal in the junior level at the Russian National Championships. Shortly after moving to Sweden with his older brother and mother, Chimaev would go on to wrestle at multiple clubs and win more championships. Chimaev's mixed martial arts career started when he was 23, and he went professional in 2018 when he won 2 fights with a knockout in one and submission in the other. Khamzat Chimaev's current record is 10-0, which can make it easy to see why he is Dana White's choice for the Nate Diaz fight. Khamzat Chimaev and his fighting style. In fights, Chimaev's styles to get his opponents on the ground and to utilize some freestyle wrestling moves to obtain top control. After obtaining top control, he'll employ any number of techniques to obtain full control of his opponents and force his weight on them. Along with grappling abilities, Chimaev's good at striking with his heavy-handed KO power. He channels this power from his unusual boxing stance mixed with kicks. Do you agree with Josh Thomson? Does the UFC underestimate what the value a Diaz versus Poirier fight could bring? Or are you going to side with Dana White and want to see Diaz face off with Chimaev? Would you tune in to watch the fight as it was organized? Comment below to let us know what you think. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video.